going on, everyone? My name is Ghiman McKinney, or you can just call me Juice, because that is my nickname. I truly believe that the Green Bay Packers should seriously consider drafting Jalen Reagor in the 2020 NFL Draft. If you don't know who Jalen Reagor is, he's a wide receiver out of TCU, and this guy has game-changing speed. And the Green Bay Packers, they need help at wide receiver, okay? The Packers had a great season last year. You know, as a Packers fan, it was so refreshing watching the Packers this year as opposed to last year when we missed the playoffs. Aaron Rodgers was, fighting with Mike McCarthy. It just wasn't a fun season, that year. But this year, they brought in Preston Smith. They brought in Zadarius Smith. They brought in some very good players on defense to help out Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers goes out there with a new coach and wins 13 games and gets one game away from the Super Bowl. But in order to get over that hump, the Green Bay Packers need to do two things. They need to improve their defense, the middle of their defense, and they need to give Aaron Rodgers more help at the wide receiver position. Those are the two areas the Packers are lacking in. And we saw in the playoffs that the 49ers exposed the middle of the Packers defense by running the football down their throat, and the Packers could not move the football on that 49ers defense because outside Devontae Adams, they did not have anyone else that really scared the 49ers secondary. They just didn't. I think Allen Lazard has some potential. Marquez Valdes-Scantling took a step back this year. Geronimo Allison was just not that good. And the Packers just don't have anyone else outside Devontae Adams that's super dependent. And I do believe the Packers need a versatile wide receiver that can play in the slot, that can win one-on-one matchups on the outside. And I believe they need a wide receiver that has game-changing speed. And Jalen Reagor fits that description. Now, I will say this. The Packers did sign Devin Funchess in the offseason. I like that signing for the Packers. I do believe Devin Funchess will come in and contribute this year, especially in the red zone. And I do believe that Aaron Rodgers will be able to work the sideline and allow Devin Funchess to get those jump balls down the field. I do believe Devin Funchess will contribute. But why not get even more greedy? Why not add an extra weapon to Aaron Rodgers' repertoire? Okay, listen, Aaron Rodgers is not getting any younger. I still believe Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback. He's still one of the 5 best quarterbacks in football right now. But the reality is, at this point in his career, Aaron Rodgers needs a little bit of help. He needs some support at the wide receiver position. And I believe that Jalen Reagor is the perfect fit for the Green Bay Packers offense. I see him as a much more bigger and faster version of Randall Cobb. And what Randall Cobb allowed Aaron Rodgers to do was get the ball out to him in space, and he would do the rest, okay? Randall Cobb was super great after the catch. He was able to go deep. He was able to win one-on-one matchups in the slot. He was very good on short, quick routes. He could go deep too. Randall Cobb was just a do-it-all, speedy wide receiver that could really open up the game and the offense for Aaron Rodgers at times. And I do believe Jalen Reagor can be that guy. He has game-changing speed. When you watch him on tape, you can clearly see this guy plays super fast. This guy is legit 4.3 speed. He's able to create separation. He's a big play wide receiver that can go deep. He's actually very good at jump balls. This guy is roughly 5'11", but he can actually go up and get the football. This guy is very good at getting jump balls down the field at times, and he's just overall a super great playmaker that this Packers team really needs, okay? And I do believe the Packers need a do-it-all wide receiver, kind of like how the 49ers use Deebo Samuel. I believe Jalen Reagor can be that guy for the Packers. They would have, if the Packers add Jalen Reagor, they'd have Devontae Adams to be the best quarterback on the opposing team. Then you'd have Devin Funchess to win the contested catches and one-on-one matchups, the 50-50 balls, and then Jalen Reagor, you can move him around in the slot, he can go deep, and he can break the game open with his speed. He will create big explosive plays for this Packers offense, and that's really what the Packers have been lacking, man, the last couple of years. Ever since they lost Jordy Nelson and Randall Cobb and James Jones, Greg Jennings was there several years ago. They just really haven't had that game changer. The guy that opposing defenses just fear. And I do truly believe that Jalen Reagor can be the mini Tyreek Hill for this Aaron Rodgers Packers offense, man. I do believe Jalen Reagor is a perfect fit, and I will say there are some other candidates that I really like for the Packers. Justin Jefferson, he has very good speed. He can play in the slot. He's very good at getting contested balls down the field. And I just think he fits in very well, potentially. I like Denzel Mims, big body wide receiver, can create separation, big play guy, very solid route runner as well. Does kind of remind me of a faster Jordy Nelson when Jordy Nelson was coming out of Kansas. So I like that fit right there, potentially. Personally, I don't think T. Higgins fits in well with the Packers. I think he's a good wide receiver, but I just think the Packers need a guy that has elite speed at that position. You know, they've already got some very good big body wide receivers. Marquez Valdes-Scantling's pretty tall. Alan Lazard is pretty tall. Devin Funchess is a big body wide receiver. I don't think that T. Higgins fits quite in well with this team. I really like KJ Hamler, but I think that Jalen Reagor is a bigger, better version of KJ Hamler. And I do believe that Jalen Reagor is the guy that the Packers should pick if he's there at number 30. It would really help spark this Aaron Rodgers Packers offense, okay? Now, I will say if AJ Epinesa is there at number 30, I do believe the Packers should take him because the Packers do need to fill the holes in the middle of their defense. And most likely, the best D tackles and the best middle linebackers will be gone by pick 30 for the Packers. And the reason I mentioned AJ Epinesa is because he's been rumored to kind of slip to the second round in this year's draft. I do believe he's too good of a prospect and too good of a fit for the Packers defense, for the Packers to really pass up on. So if AJ Epinesa is there, scratch the whole Jalen Reagor talk and take AJ Epinesa, because I do believe he's the perfect fit for this Packers defense, and I do believe he would be able to move inside. He was listed at defensive end at Iowa. I do believe he can play on the inside. He moved around a lot at Iowa. He played on the edge as an edge rusher. He played inside as more of a 3-4 D tackle, sort of a 3-4 defensive end that you move to the inside. I do believe he would be able to help Kenny Clark on the interior as far as getting after the quarterback and helping to aid the run defense up the middle for the Packers. And as I mentioned, you can get a very good starting wide receiver in round 2, 3, or 4 in this year's draft. The Packers, if they take AJ Epinesa, they will have an opportunity to draft someone like a Michael Pittman Jr. in round number 2 or number 3, if he's there available in the second round. After Jerry Jeudy, Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, all the elite guys will probably be taken in the first round. You could find some real steals in the second or third round, and I do believe that Michael Pittman Jr. is a guy that's a very good route runner. He can move around a little bit, doesn't have elite speed, but he knows how to get open. And I do believe he would be a very reliable pass catcher for Aaron Rodgers if he were to get drafted by this team. And I also do think that KJ Hill is a very solid fit for this Packers offense. Again, he's very similar to Michael Pittman Jr. He just knows how to get open, has a very good feel for the game, solid route runner. Again, doesn't have the breakaway speed, but again, Aaron Rodgers just needs more reliable targets that consistently just get open and can win one-on-one matchups. And KJ Hill can do that. I also, like I said, I really love KJ Hamler. I don't know if he'll be there late in the second round. He's more of an early to mid-second round guy in my eyes. But I will say that Jalen Reagor should be near the top of the Packers board. It's also been reported that Jalen Reagor had a very good meeting with the Packers, when he talked to them. So again, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, I think they're the class of the NFC North. I do think that they're probably going to win the NFC North once again this year. They still got Aaron Rodgers, still got Aaron Jones, who showed a lot of flashes this year. He really burst onto the scene. Devontae Adams is a legit elite wide receiver in today's NFL. The defense improved tremendously by adding some edge rushers in the Smith brothers. The secondary is very solid with Jair Alexander and Kevin King. The safety group is pretty good. But in order for the Packers to win Aaron Rodgers a second Super Bowl, they need to fix the middle of that defense. I do believe that they're going to potentially do so in this draft. And I do believe they need to add another wide receiver or two. And I do believe that Jalen Reagor should be a wide receiver that the Packers should really look to target and add to their team. I believe he's the perfect fit for this Packers offense. Be sure to comment whether you agree with me and disagree with me. Love to hear what you guys have to say in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juice Alert Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I currently am a freshman there right now. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juice Alert Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.